Hey team, the purpose of this lesson is to explain how you would go through the process of taking multiple student files that are specifically Google slide presentations, sort of consolidating them into one final project. That way, if you want it to repeat on a loop during open house, then you don't have to babysit your computer over and over again. And as long as your computer is not set into a mode where it will sleep on its own to save power, in theory, this project should be able to repeat on a loop over and over again. And again, this is all the student files that you put into this master project. So these are not real student samples. These are just fake student samples that I have loaded in here for the purpose of sharing this video. And I only have 8 total projects in here. You would have the total number of students in your class. So head over to wherever that master folder is that houses all of those projects. It's probably inside your classroom folder. And you can find that inside Google Classroom. For example, let me slide this class over, and then right here, you'll find the class drive folder. So you can go into classwork inside your own Google Classroom, and then right here where it says class drive folder, you should have access to all of the assignments that you have posted inside that Google Classroom for the year. And then it would be your job to double click on that one folder containing the projects that you want to showcase. So fast forward, we're now in that folder. My recommendation is to come over to New, followed by Slides, because I'm showcasing slides in this particular one. So I want to create a new slide, and by using the New button inside this folder, then that means that the new project that I'm designing right now will instantly show up inside of this folder. So New, followed by Google Slides, and then name it whatever you want that's helpful for your organizational purposes. If you just want to call it open house, you can call it open house. And then if you want to type whatever the year is, then feel free to go ahead and do that. So I have successfully renamed this project. Now, the projects that I'm copying and pasting over to this one are of a different size. If that's the case, you might need to go down to page setup and then make some adjustments on this screen to custom. So if it's a newspaper, like not really paper, but basically a digital newspaper or a mock website or something, then you would want to make any modifications to this page, these settings right here, so that the size of your new document mimics the size of the original file. So my originals that I'm pulling from the student work is 10 by 14 inches. So I'm going to click apply. And then now I have an elongated template that faces essentially a different direction. Now I can come in here and then Control A to select everything and then backspace to get rid of it, but you may or may not need to do that. So let me head over here, and essentially I have gone into a child's project. So I'll back up one step. So I'm going to come into Beth's project. I'm going to double click. If, for example, Beth has more than one slide, so let me mimic what that would look like. I just made duplicates of the first one to mimic what it would look like to have more than one. So click on slide number 1. After you click on slide number 1, you want to select all of it. So I'm going to hold the control button down on my keyboard, and then I'm going to touch the letter A for all. And you'll notice how there's a golden outline or perimeter around every single slide. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the control button down on my keyboard. I'm going to touch the letter C for copy. I'm going to let go of both of those buttons. So Control A and then let go, followed by holding the control button down and then C for copy so that you've copied everything. Now I'm going to head up to open house. I'm going to click right here on slide number 1. I'm going to hold the control button down and then V for victory, which is the same as paste. You're going to paste those in here. I do not want to link these to one another, so I'm going to click on do not link. This just automatically pops up. So I was modeling what it looked like if there was more than one slide, but in reality, there's only one slide that represents Beth's slide. So let me get rid of that first one. Let me get rid of slide number 2, and I have a copy of Beth's project inside Open House. I can close Beth's project because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to go back to the student samples. I'm going to open up George's project. Inside George's project, I'm going to repeat those same steps all over again. I'm going to click on slide number 1. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to paste it into the next one. So copy over here. Now I really want a new one, but it doesn't matter. I don't officially have to make a new slide. If I do Control V for victory, which is the keyboard commands for paste, it's just going to paste it in here. You don't have to go through the process of making a new slide, new slide, new slide. It's just going to paste that new slide, whatever's on your clipboard, into your project. So close George's project out, come back, double click on Kate's project. I'm going to click on Kate's project. I'm going to go through the process of copying all over again. In just a second, I'll click pause on my video because I don't need you to watch me do the same exact thing 8 times. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to click. You might not need to click, but by clicking, it shows you where in the sequence your next slide will fall. Control V for victory. If you forget the copy and paste commands, then up here in edit, it will tell you what those keyboard commands are in this drop down menu. Or if you would prefer to come up here and click edit and then click paste instead of using the keyboard commands, then that's fine. I'm going to click pause and then I'll see you back here in just a second. All right, so I have all 8 projects loaded in here. So all 8 slides are in here. You might have 36 or 37 depending on the number of students you have, but all of those slides are there. And if you have 3 slides per child, you'd end up with several, whatever. So you have all your slides into your Open House 2019. The next step is heading up to File. And then from File, you want to come down right here to where it says Publish to the Web. After you choose Public to the Web, you're going to want a link. I suppose if you want to embed it on your website or whatever, you can, but the link would be right here. The default is transitioning every 3 seconds, but if you want to choose something different, if you want every project to be on the screen for 5 seconds, that's up to you. And then these next 2 items would be important to you as well. If you want to start the slideshow as soon as the player loads, you can click that. Or if you want to restart the slideshow after the last slide, that might be helpful if you want it to repeat on a loop. Otherwise, without choosing this box right here, then that means you have to come back to the project and then sort of scrub it back to the beginning or rewind essentially, and then start it all over again. And in my opinion, you don't want to babysit that project. You just want it to repeat over and over again. If you have additional settings that would be important to you, if you want to require viewers to sign in with their Clovis Unified account for added security, then that would be something that could be important to you, especially if you don't want to compromise student safety depending on what type of content is in there. However, the likelihood of somebody actually finding the project is pretty slim. So start publishing when you are finished. Verify that with the OK button. You will have a link available to you right here. It says press Control+C to copy. Your other option is right click and then copy. And then inside a new tab, if I paste that link followed by enter, then the video is essentially just going to play on its own. So every 5 seconds, the next project is going to come in, and the next project and the next project, and so on. And if you notice that there are any errors or any problems with the project, you're more than welcome to go back and make any adjustments as needed. And then feel free to publish to the web all over again so that you can make sure that any of those modifications are now part of your final project. And then my recommendation to you is save that link, or you can always go back in to publish on the web if needed, and you have access to that. One other feature that might be helpful for you, if you don't want part of your screen to be eaten up by these items up at the top, if you click on the 3 dots over here, followed by this broken square, which means full screen, then all of the other features that represent the web browser will disappear, and literally your entire projects will then take up the entire screen. And then if you want to come out of the presentation mode, you can slide up to the top, and then this X will appear. By clicking on that X, that you will come out of full screen mode. Sometimes I have difficulties locating that button and I feel like I'm chasing it back and forth. If that's the case for you, the escape button would be the button that you would want to use, and then the escape button would get you out of presentation mode. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. I'm sure you're going to have an amazing open house. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.